Hi, I'm Chris, and I've been teaching Eureka Math for about 5 years, and I've been teaching 5th grade math for about 26 years. So here we are today looking at Module 6, Foundations of Geometry in the Coordinate Plane, Eureka Math Squared, Grade 5. And let's start with this picture. Okay. We have some points plotted on a line, and if you're in a group or in a class, you could have someone describe one of the points on this line. If not, you could think about how could you tell somebody what are the points on this line? How could we explain to somebody, like let's say this particular point right here. How could we tell somebody where this point is? Aha! If we had a ruler, we could measure. We could say it's this many centimeters or inches from the arrow, or maybe from another point, right? If we had some kind of tick marks along the way, then just like a number line, the tick marks could have numbers assigned to them. So today we're going to create a system to help us describe the locations of points on a line. All right. And here we have a vertical number line, right? And I even wrote it down for you, a vertical number line. Can you identify the location of each point in this line? So can you tell the location of A, B, C, and D? All right, well, A, we have a 0 right here, so we know that A is equal to 0. B, C, and D have tick marks, right? These little lines are called tick marks, those little lines. And we have tick marks, but they're not labeled. So let's say the tick marks are equally spaced 1 unit apart, right? And that 1 unit could be 1 centimeter, 1 foot, up to anything, but we'll just say 1 unit, so then we have it kind of open. And we can say that the interval or space between the tick marks is 1 unit. Okay, so there's another word we need to know. Interval, the space between the tick marks, literally this space right here between the tick marks. Okay, let's say that it's 1. So how many units from 0 is B? So let's look at 0, 1, 2, 3. So we could say that B is 3 units, all right? And B has a coordinate of 3. So there's another word, coordinate. That means the number that it is related to, 3. The coordinate is 3. 3 units. And we can say that B has a coordinate of 3, and coordinate is a number to identify the location of a point. Which point has a coordinate of 0? Point A. Very good. What is the coordinate or location of point C? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So C is at 8. And D is at 9. Very good. Okay, now what if we changed our interval? Right? Because we can do that. The interval is up to us because we are making this vertical number line. Right? So what if we changed our interval? Instead of 1, what if we said our interval was 2? How would that change things? Our A is still going to be 0, but our B would be 2, 4, 6, right? So now our interval is 2, so our B is now at 6. Very good. And our C would be 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. And maybe you're thinking 8 times 2 is 16. Very good. And 9 times 2, 18 is very good, right? So when we identify the coordinate of a point, we need to know the value of at least 1 tick mark so we can get started. 0 is a good one to start with. And we also need to know the number of units between tick marks so we can identify the point's distance from 1, right? So we can say This would be a jump of 2, right? I'm sorry, did I say the distance from 1? I meant to say the distance from 0. Very good. Okay, now let's look at problem 1 on your magnifying glass page. So go ahead and look at that. I think I have one that kind of looks like it right here. And on the magnifying glass page, problem 1, what do we notice about that? I hope you notice that it's a slanted line. Yes. And there's 3 points on the line and no tick marks. So can we identify the coordinates of the points on this line? Well, not really, because we don't have any tick marks to help us out with that, right? Okay, so what could we do? We could create a coordinate system on any line to help us identify the location of points. A coordinate system, here's the word coordinate system, uses one or more numbers or coordinates to identify the location of a point. At least one point, a lot of times more than one point, right? Okay, did the slanted line we looked at earlier have a coordinate system? Could we identify the exact location of a point? No, we couldn't, right? So let's start by naming our points G, H, and I, so we know which ones we're talking about, okay? G, H, and I. A lot of times we use letters to identify points, so it's easy to talk about them. And go ahead and label yours in your magnifying glass page. Okay? Very good. Now we need to know the value of at least one of our points. So let's go ahead and make our G 0. Okay? So label that on your page as well. If the first tick mark is 0, what are the rest of the coordinates going to be? It's pretty hard to tell, isn't it? We need more tick marks to help us identify the coordinates. Any way we can create a coordinate system for this line is to draw a tick mark at H and say the interval from G to H represents 1 unit. Okay? So here we go. H, and H is going to be 1. All right? And you're doing that in your book as well. We said that the interval, there's our word interval again, the space between 2 tick marks. We said that our interval is going to be 1 unit. How can we draw other tick marks so that the length of each interval is 1 unit? Aha! Could we measure between these two and then go ahead and make some tick marks there? All right, I'm going to show you what you can do. You can use any piece of paper. It could be a Post-it note. It could be a card, anything, even like a lined piece of paper. Any kind of paper will work. And we are going to measure the length of the interval. Okay, so take your paper and lay it down and make these little, lay it down right on the line and make these little kind of like arrow marks so that it points right to your G and your H. Okay? Now we know the length of our interval, so we can go ahead and move it, and we can put another there. You see how that works? Right? Then we can do it again. Now we have the length of our interval. And I think I made my line a little bit longer when I drew mine, because on yours, your eye is probably right here. So I'm just going to erase mine from over there. Okay. If these tick marks are 0 and 1, what values do the other tick marks represent? 2, 3, and 4. Yeah? Can we identify the coordinate of each point now? Yes? Okay, you see them very clearly. By drawing a tick mark and labeling it 0, and drawing and labeling tick marks that are equally spaced, we constructed a coordinate system. All right, constructing a coordinate system on a line allows us to identify the location of each point in the line. All right, now I'm going to put a point here between 2 and 3 on my line. Does a point have to have a tick mark to have a coordinate? This point right here, does it have to have a tick mark? What do you think? It looks like it's about at 2.5, right? So any point on a line in a coordinate system is going to have a coordinate because it has a location. Whether it's on a tick mark or not, if the point is not located on the tick mark, then we have to estimate its coordinate. All right? So we could estimate this is about 2.5. But it's an estimate since we're not exactly sure. Okay? Very good. Let's look at a horizontal number line. Here we go. Make sure we got that all on our screen. Very good. And you know, I just noticed the time, so we're going to start this one on our next video. Thanks for watching, you guys. You're awesome. Aloha.